Such an honor to be here. Thanks for having me, Balaji. Thanks for coming, everyone. This is an amazing audience. Quick thing, by show of hands, how many of you were just here at this venue for Solana Breakpoint in the last 2 days? Nice. Awesome. So the tired but very happy people are the ones that were here, and the well-slept people seem to be up to other things. So yeah, Solana, the network and the ecosystem just had its largest conference ever at this venue. We're happy to have our second year where we are, partnering with the network state and sharing venues. Balaji's thinking on decentralization and censorship resistance have been really pivotal to the design of Solana, and our approach to having something that's usable and fast and cheap and efficient, but also that's censorship resistant and decentralized. So super happy to be here. And that's what I want to talk about. I think the people that have been at Breakpoint for the last 2 days have seen Solana from many different lenses. You've seen hundreds, thousands of builders using the network for different things. But today I'm going to talk about it from the perspective of the network state. And I'm going to talk specifically about the Solana tech stack, the Solana network state stack that anyone can use to build a network state. This is actually emerging really quickly. We have lots of cloud communities that are forming physical presences, and they're using these tools. And in true Solana fashion, I'm going to talk to you about those tools through the lens of founders and their stories and what they've built. So if you were here a year ago, you saw one of our summer interns, Anatoly Yakovenko, present on the unbundling of banks. He talked about how there's a parallel financial system that's being built on Solana where you can do all of the things you do in the traditional finance system, but through decentralized protocols built on Solana. This was a slide from that talk. Fast forward a year later, Solana has been routinely the largest chain for decentralized exchange volume. There have been millions of users, tens of billions of dollars that have passed through that unbundled bank and set of protocols. And now what we're focused on and what we're really excited about is unbundling the rest of the cities. So what does that entail? There's land, there's governance, there's payments, energy, communication, and actually there are stories of all of these things that are being decentralized and forming network states on Solana. So let's start with communication, one of my favorite examples. Helium is a decentralized network of hotspots that people are running all over the world. 18,000 hotspots that underpin a 5G network where the people that are contributing the bandwidth to that network are earning tokens, and they're actually competing credibly with centralized versions of the same product. So actually my phone in my pocket is running a $20 a month unlimited plan on Helium on that network. There are 110,000 paid signups for this network and almost 3 petabytes of data transmission. And this is really cool and important because this is the first example, actually in history, of a hardware network being stood up so quickly. 5G networks are incredibly hard to construct. And all of that infrastructure got stood up through a network state, a cloud network, a community that was incentivized to build it. And if you're crowdfunding to buy land as a network state and get diplomatic recognition, one of the coolest things that you can offer is something in this category of products, which is decentralized physical infrastructure networks. You can offer to bring infrastructure to land for the first time through the power of crypto incentives in the way that Helium did. Another one that you saw earlier, you saw Akshay, the founder of Superteam, who has built the Superteam diaspora on Solana. It very closely resembles what Balaji talked about more than a year ago in the Network State book. They have dashboards, they're measuring GDP, but it's all about the bedrock of a great economy in any great city, which is earning. Super Team Earn lets anyone earn their first dollars on chain. Their mission is to get as many people in as many markets earning on chain for the first time, and they've done it in more than 20 to 30 countries now. There are very strong local communities that have been built. To me, it resembles the old Uber launcher program. There are general managers in each of these regions that basically have carte blanche to just activate the market and create a self-sustaining economy. And now this diaspora looks like a network state. And Akshay can talk your ear off about this after the conference. But what that looks like to us is something like a decentralized Y Combinator. These are founders all over the world building products. They're very product oriented, very user oriented, and that's the network state that's being built there. Governance is also built on Solana with tools like MetaDAO. This is prediction markets for allocating resources. So this takes the power of financial markets, which are really a fun and super engaging experience, and it applies them to something that used to be very boring, which is governance and voting. So to some people this may look like over-financialization, but what we're seeing is that the youngest generation views these market-based interfaces as like the most fun way to engage with the world. And if you need any proof of that, just look at like the GameStop saga and watch the movie Dumb Money. Young people love to engage in these types of platforms, and this is really core to some of the principles of Solana. We want for the network state future to be intuitive, fast, and fun, and easy to use, and something that people actually want to pick up. Not because they believe in the mission, they very well may, but also because the act of doing it is just really fun. With energy, we have Project Zero. So they're doing token incentives for homes to install renewable energy, have home electric vehicle charging stations, and add renewable energy back to the grid. So they're incentivizing users with tokens to build these local generation consumption networks and reduce pressure on the power grid. This is important because we need to double existing grid capabilities by 2050 to sustain demand for energy. And that's kind of the moral imperative for that community, is to get us there faster. So this is built on Solana. We also have MetaWealth and other protocols that allow for decentralized property ownership, and these kind of pave the way for things like property rights on chain. Another example that looks a little bit like Helium is HiveMapper. They've remapped 25% of the world's roads in just over a year using a dash cam. So same thing as I said with Helium. If there's if there's a new plot of land that you're building new roads on, mapping those roads can happen in a decentralized way with something like HiveMapper, but also it's actually better. It's 4K. It refreshes every 15 minutes. You can dial in incentives. People can pay to have, let's say, like a car accident or debris in a lane on a highway, have a higher refresh rate, so that people that are consuming that map data can actually see in real time what's on the road. And they have 10 major mapping companies, some of the biggest mapping companies in the world, consuming data from their decentralized mapping service. I talked about property rights earlier. Baxis is doing on-chain investment-grade whiskey, and they started with this vertical because it's very important to actually track. Where is that whiskey stored? In what light conditions? How many times did it change hands? Was it open? Was it drank? And so this sort of supply chain management and tracking allows for people to do things like invest in whiskey without actually taking possession of it. But this is a protocol that could be forked and extended and remixed, and could expand to property rights for any class of assets that you have to track ownership for in a network state. So you guys heard a bunch of projects here today talk about what they're doing on Solana. One of them that I haven't seen yet, or maybe I missed it, is Praxis, and also Prospera. These folks are already using Solana for things like payments and asset registry and bounties. And over 15,000 residents in states like Praxis and Prospera are onboarded to Solana wallets. So, what's the common theme here, and what's the sort of call to action? Solana is it's a network state operating system, but it is also a network state itself. And the common theme with those citizens is they are product-driven founders. So if you're a product-driven founder that is starting a network state, and I haven't already talked to you, or we haven't already featured you in this deck or on our website, I'd love to hear from you. I'm at Raj Gokal on Twitter, and you can join one of the thousands of builders around the world that have raised over definitely more than $60 million. I think more like $600 million, and generated over $6 billion in market cap. If you're not one of those founders, as Akshay said, if you can be on a keyboard and create content or code, you can earn bounties through Super Team. Please scan this QR code if you'd like to get a skyhook into earning opportunities on chain in the Solana network state. And again, thank you so much, Balaji, for putting this on. This is really an inspiration. Thank you so much for everybody here. If you want to learn more, go to solana.com, and that'll help you wayfind through the ecosystem. Thank you. Take care.